In today's episode of the Aeong Show, we'll be talking about Twilight, Breaking Dawn, Part 1. Hello everybody, this is Zach and welcome back to the Aeong Show. Today is October 14th, and that means today is Twilight Tuesday. That's right, today is Twilight Tuesday, and we're talking about Breaking Dawn Part 1. Last week we talked about Eclipse, the week before that, New Moon, and a couple weeks before that we talked about, the original Twilight. Today we're talking about Part 1 of Breaking Dawn. Again, only the movies are split into two different parts, but since there's like so much there that we can talk about, I'm just going to talk about the first part today. So that's again from the beginning of the book up until Renesmee is born, and same thing in the movie up until Renesmee is born and Bella turns into a vampire. Everything after that we'll talk about next week. So let's get right into it. Again, I enjoy Breaking Dawn a lot. I think it's definitely like it's one of the more different books of the series, just because we do get in this one, in part 1, the first half we get like a giant section that is just Jacob. Like we get Jacob's mind, we get the Jacob point of view. Pretty much happens like the beginning of the book is all about the wedding, all about Edward and Bella's like honeymoon, all that stuff. And then like once we find out Bella's pregnant, she calls up Rosalie. And that's pretty much like where Bella's point of view ends until she becomes a vampire. Then we get Jacob's point of view. And it's pretty much him. He's all moody at this point still. So like, all that point up until, Renesmee is born and like Bella dies. That's all Jacob's point of view. And it makes the book really interesting. I remember when I was reading the book, like I was reading through all of the Twilight books. I was reading through Breaking Dawn, and like I get up to the point where like actually it was pretty much I opened up the book and like I see that there's like it's split into 3 books, and like the second one's Jacob, and I'm like, wait, what, why, like why are we doing this? I don't, because at this point again I'm fresh off reading Eclipse, and like Jacob's still pretty annoying at the beginning of Breaking Dawn, so I'm just kind of like, God, I don't like, why are you doing this to me? Like I don't like Jacob right now. Like, if this was, like, Eclipse or, like, right after New Moon, I'd be more interested. But right now, I'm like, God, I don't want to listen to Jacob for, like, however many chapters it was. But, I will say that, but I actually really enjoyed Jacob's part. I think Jacob's part is, like, maybe my favorite part of Breaking Dawn, which I didn't expect. Like, it's, because, again, he's pretty annoying at first, but I feel like once you see a lot of growth in Jacob, which, I mean, we'll get into the end part in a little bit. I guess it depends, because we can talk about it next week, but, like, we'll talk about it slightly at the end. But, like, for the most part, he's kind of annoying at the beginning still, because he's still, like, mad, because, oh no, Bella went off, and he's still, like, in the mood of, like, oh, if they turn Bella, I'm gonna just, like, mess everything up, I'm just gonna go crazy. And, of course, like, it starts off, like, he's, like, pissed, his sister had just like got imprinted on by Paul, his friend, so he he's kind of annoyed by that. And then so like he talks to the pack, because he hears that like Bella's back. He hears Bella's back, but she's like sick or whatever. And so like he goes meets to the pack. He's like, oh, this is it. They turned her and whatever. Like we have to do something about it. We can't. The treaty, all that. And they're like kind of like, Jacob, we don't really have a problem with the vampires anymore. The Cullens are fine. Like, we're all good. Like, we kind of got over all that nonsense, like, during Eclipse. Like, once we all helped each other out and, like, saved each other, and, Carlisle was really nice to you and helped bring you back to health. We don't really see the need to be, like, rude about this. Like, if she wants to do this, like, that's her own personal business. Like, who really cares what Bella wants to do? Like, they're not forcing her. She wants it. Whatever. And so then Jacob's, like, pissed. He's like, fine, I'm gonna go stomp off and go see myself. So he goes straight over there, and like, again, I'm still annoyed at him at this point. And so then he goes there. He sees that Bella's not actually like, she hasn't been turned yet. She's still a human, but she's pregnant, and she's pregnant with a thing. Like, because at this point we don't really know what the baby is. Like, they still don't really know what the baby is, because at this point they still don't even know that a vampire can impregnate a human. So they're like all shocked, and like, of course, she's also like dying slowly at this point still, because like the baby is like draining her body because it's super strong and it's growing exceptionally fast. It's only been like a few weeks since like she left Brazil and came back, and like, the baby's like almost ready to be born. Um, so of course he's shocked. They're all still trying to talk Bella out of this, mostly just like Alice and Edward are trying to talk her out of this. Rosalie, of course, is staunchly defending her, which I can understand. Again, it's Bella's choice, what she wants to do. That's fine. But like, I can also understand like Edward's point of view in this situation, where he's like, you're kind of just gonna like like Bella, you're probably gonna die from this because this is kind of crazy. We don't really know what we're doing here. And so, I can understand every perspective. But like, I just remembered when Edward is like pretty much like, hey Jacob, can you go talk to Bella? And it's totally fine if you can convince her to like get rid of this baby. If she wants to have babies, she can just have them with you real quick, and then we'll turn into a vampire afterwards. But she can have babies with you. That was like, Edward. I understand his reasoning. So at this point, he's pretty much like, he thinks Bella's dead. Like, he thinks she's done for. Like, he thinks like they're not gonna have enough time between the baby being born, because they don't know how destructive the birth of the baby is gonna be, between that and like giving her like the vampire serum, because like, just because you're dying doesn't mean it's gonna like save you. Like, just because the vampire like venom and stuff like heals your body doesn't mean that's necessarily gonna save you from like death. Like, it can, but if your body's too far gone, it's too far gone. So at this point, I can understand his reasoning. It still was just like a weird mind-boggling moment at that point when reading it. But then I think Jacob, for the most part during this part, is when he starts to grow, because like he starts to like, he defends the Cullens from the rest of the tribe. He like goes up to Seth. He's like, we can't do this. Like, we don't know what's going on. We have to wait it out and stuff like that. And like Seth's like, no, we're gonna go in there and like immediately destroy stuff, because they can't be bringing this baby in that we don't have any idea what it's gonna do. And so I do appreciate that Jacob kind of like was like, no, we're not gonna do this. Like, you trusted them before, but now you don't trust them at all. And so then he leaves the pack. He kind of like shows his alpha status, because like he should be the alpha of the pack, but he kind of like didn't want to be. So he leaves, does his own thing. Seth comes along. Leah, both Clearwaters come along to join him. They have like a nice little mini trio pack, which I really enjoyed all this stuff. I enjoyed like the three of them together. I think Seth is great. Leah, I think, really shines during this part. You get to see more from her. I thought her and Jacob were a really great pair. Not necessarily have to be like romantic or anything like that. I mean, they could have been, but like, I thought they were a great pair. I thought they really balanced each other in a lot of ways. And so I thought I would have loved to have seen more of that instead of what we kind of ended up getting. But again, we'll get into that. And there's also the one part where like, because at this point, like, Jacob thinks like him and Edward are on the same page. Like, they both hate whatever that thing is that's in Bella, because it's gonna kill her. But then at some point, Edward starts to hear like the thoughts of the baby. Like, he can hear what the baby's thinking, and then he starts to like fall for the baby, because again, now that he knows it's like a real thing and like they kind of understand it, it's not as big of a deal. And then like once they start giving Bella blood to drink, which then like feeds the baby and kind of gives Bella back her strength, then everything starts to like relax. But of course, like, Jacob's pissed, so he kind of like leaves. And I thought this part should have been in the movie. It wasn't in the movie. I thought it was a great part, just because it showed like the desperation of Jacob at this point, because he's still like kind of like trapped with Bella. Like, he's not even imprinted on her, but he still feels like trapped, where like he can't let her go, and she just really want to let him go, because she still like loves him and stuff like that. Like, she wants him around because like, oh, he's her best friend, like her sunshine, all that stuff. And Jacob doesn't know how to just give her up, so he just keeps sticking around, even though she's married, even though she's got a baby with Edward. Like, he still keeps like coming back and he's just like punishing himself more. So the part that I wish that was in the movie was the part where he like takes Edward's car and just like goes to Seattle. I think he does. He like just drives to Seattle and like is like just like looking around trying to find someone to imprint on. Like he's just like begging to find some random girl to just imprint on so he can just like forget about Bella and be like with someone else who actually wants him. And that's like I think one of Jacob's best parts in the whole series. It's just like it shows kind of like the desperation of like this whole terrible relationship that him, Bella, and Edward have been going on with. But of course, he doesn't imprint on anyone then. So he comes back, everything's going fine. And then, of course, Bella like drops her drink, goes to pick it up, spine breaks, immediately goes into like the baby's coming, so they have to go take care of it. They rip it out, and of course, like she's like dying. They think she's dead. They save the baby, who of course is gonna be called Renesmee at this point. I don't really hate the name. A lot of people hate the name Renesmee. I'm fine with it. I mean, it's a little weird and clunky, but I think it also does sound kind of nice, Renesmee. I think it's only weird just because it's just Renee and Esme's names together, but whatever. But yeah, so then, this is happening. Edward starts immediately, like, injecting venom directly into her heart, biting her all over to try and, like, get the venom into her system quickly to save her. And then, like, Rosalie takes the baby to, like, go clean her up, get her away from all the mess that's happening right now. And then Jacob's like, you know what? I'm pissed because Bella's dead now, so what's the point of anything? And then he goes to, like, he's gonna take care of this baby. The baby. And then, like, he's about to do it. Eye to eye, eyes lock with the baby. And he's done. It's over. He's imprinted. It's over. It's just the punishment of Jacob. I feel bad for him. The fact that he gets imprinted on the baby of the person he loved, and now he's stuck because he can't imprint. Like, that's it. You're done. I mean, it's awful. I don't know why they had to do that to him. I don't know why Stephanie Meyer did that to him. I mean, it's not like my favorite thing in the entire series that he imprinted on the baby. Like, he could have been. I would have been fine if he was just like fully like devoted to protecting Renesmee, and it wasn't because of imprinting. You know what I'm saying? Like, if like he was just like like Bella lives, and he's like, you know what? I love Bella. Edward's cool. We're kind of like moving past all our issues. And I'm gonna like the pack is still upset about everything, but I'm gonna protect Renesmee, because I'm gonna be the cool guy and take care of things, and then he can like have his own romantic interest separate from everything. But instead, now he's like locked into this, and now he's like, it's weird. It's just weird. But yeah, and in the movie, of course, the big difference between like the movie and like the book is I'd say that the fact that they have like the wolves are way more of like a threat in the movie. In the books, they're not really. Like the second Jacob like leaves and like makes his own little mini pack with Leah and Seth, like there's no really any further like issues between them. Like Sam and the rest of the pack, the main pack, kind of just like they realize that there's no point because it's just gonna be way too messy, and so they don't really get involved with anything because we're like, we're not fine. You want to do that? We'll wait till after everything's done, and then we'll check everything in. But in the movie, it's like no, like battles, and like they have to like run and escape and fight off the wolves to get blood, and like then like after the baby's born, like they have a giant battle in front of the house and stuff like that, which doesn't happen in the books. I mean, I understand they want the if you didn't have that, the movie's just kind of like less action packed. It's just kind of like da 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 da. So I understand why they did it to make the movie a little bit more action packed, but I don't think they really needed it. The book I think is better than the movie, but yeah, I can understand why they did it. And overall, I mean, I think Breaking Dawn Part 1 is good. I like Jacob's part the most. I mean, the first part was just like the wedding. I think the wedding's like really beautiful in the movie. I think all that stuff is really nicely done. But I think like again, once the baby stuff's like way more interesting for me, and then of course like what happens in the second part, which we'll get into next week. when we talk about it. Because, yeah, there's a lot more to talk about. And then there's a lot more to talk about after that. Because, again, Twilight Tuesdays are not ending next week with part 2 of Breaking Dawn. There's a lot more to talk about with Twilight. A lot of theories, a lot of character stuff I want to get into. So we'll have a lot more to talk about. But next week we will talk about part 2, which will be Bella as a vampire. We'll talk a lot more about Jacob and Renesmee. We'll talk about the Volturi, because while they do show up at the end of part 1 the movie, like the little teaser for them, that doesn't happen in the in the in the book. That they don't show up till the end, till like the final confrontation. But we'll get into all that next week. Lots of new characters will be introduced next week, because once we get into Breaking Dawn Part 2 is when all the other vampires come in to help save the day. So we'll get into that next week. Again, this has been Zach with the Aeong Show. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like the video, leave a comment talking about Breaking Dawn Part 1, anything you have to say. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I will see you all next time. Peace.